Now, you know the Earl sexuals are going to say otherwise, my brother. I have to be honest with you. And you know the Bud Buddies are also going to say you're out of your fucking mind. So let me ask you this, just out of curiosity, because I don't think I've ever heard your take on that fight. If it were to happen, who are you picking and why?
I'm just gonna go for like Terence Crawford. He has a lot of dynamic features when it comes to his boxing. And if he
Mhm.
sees exactly what I'm seeing when it comes to Errol Spence, he will take advantage and capitalize. Errol Spence has weaknesses, just like Terence Crawford,
Right.
and but the person that makes the most adjustments would be somebody like Terence Crawford, that's trying to constantly evolve and change and cater to whatever that's going on. It just took a long time for Errol Spence, and he rarely have anybody that's given him any resistance due to the best matchmaking possible.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
you rarely see him like have to like make any kind of real adjustments, but it took a quite a while. It took quite a while for him to adjust to what
Sean
Sean
Porter.
Porter.
Yep.
Sean Porter, it took a long time. It took quite a long time for him to make an adjustment to somebody like Kell Brooks,
Kell Brook. Those are the
you
two
know?
fights I had in mind.
And
Absolutely.
and and like I see openings all day. Like the moment he throws a punch, he gets hit.
Yeah.
It's not he only throws one or two punches at a time. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
it's limited opportunities, but then because he's so conventional, you can like pretty much play off of whatever he's throwing, because it's not like he's throwing something that you're not going to see coming. Yeah,
Okay.
you might be able to catch somebody like um um what's his name? Park what
Who
um
that?
the short guy. We just said his name. I forgot his name though.
Sean Porter.
Sean Porter.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Sean
might
Porter.
you might be able to catch somebody like Sean Porter. Why? Because he's trying to just bulldoze you,
Mhm.
and most times his mental factors is just not all the way there. I mean, he basically fights like a football player that, like, and he will bulldoze through you,
Yeah. In a
and like there'll
3-point
be
stance. Yeah.
yeah, he'll run right through you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most times that with that type of thing, you miss out on a lot of opportunities and you're not really thinking. In the Terence Crawford fight, he
Mhm.
was thinking right
Mhm.
up until he wasn't thinking, and then he was
Mhm.
getting caught. So like this just that factor that I think that Terence Crawford might have a little bit of a better go. Um, but he's a dead man if he fucking fights Blair the Flair. Period. Both of them.
Let me ask you another question. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, Blair. I only got two more questions for you because I know you're a busy guy. When you say Earl Spence is very conventional or very straight up and down with no special effects, can you break that down? Because whenever I say that, once again, I get called a hater. People tell me I don't know shit about boxing. Can you break it down for the Earl sexuals in the chat that love to come on my page, stalking me every day? Can you break that down? Because this sounds a lot better coming from a real boxer opposed to a guy that watches y'all box. Go ahead.
Okay, look, there's multiple features about Errol Spence.
Mm,
He's incredibly strong, but is he really that much stronger than anybody else? Or is it the fact that he knows how to land perfect shots at a specific range that allows him to maximize his punching power? He's not pushing out that much aggression or that much more power than anybody else. He
mm,
just is able to catch you on a specific type of range. If he doesn't have that range, he doesn't have that power.
mm,
And you will see it in multiple fights, whereas though like he's having a hard time with Sean Porter, and Sean Porter's not giving him his range. You know what I
mm.
mean? Until he lands something that can, like, you know what I mean, can get this guy off him.
Right.
Now we have that. Okay, so his punching power is great, but only because of the range. Okay, what else? He has absolutely no head movement, no
Mm,
head movement at all.
mm,
So and there's reasons behind the fact that he doesn't move his head, and his hands is constantly on a high guard.
mm,
It's because of his reflexes. He is at a disadvantage because his reflexes is not that great. He cannot just focus. He can't put his brain focus on defensive reflexes, because if he did, it would take away from his offense.
mm,
Everything that you see in a
mm,
fighter has a weakness. There's a
Right.
weakness in everything. And
Right.
most times it's in their strengths that the biggest weakness is there. You know, so like Errol Spence, yeah, when he's throwing up punches and they're amazing. They're amazing shots, but are they really that amazing, or they're very, very conventional shots
Mhm.
that's just placed at the right time
Mhm.
at a specific range. If you take away the range, you take away the power. You take away his timing, you take away his abilities.
Mhm.
You be able, if you're able to capitalize on the fact that he gets hit every single time he throws a punch.
Mhm.
If you're a master at exchange punches, you're gonna get him the fuck out of there. And that's just what it
Mm.
is. So
Right.
like, and that's just what it is. I mean, like, he's not impossible. He will get hurt
Mhm.
and he will get damaged, and no one is impossible to beat. You know what I mean? I'm the master at fucking exchange punches. I will make shit up on the fly. You saw the last fight.
I saw that
You
in
know,
your last fight.
I dare you try to just run over me. Like I will make some shit up. You know what I mean? But like, and especially if I'm at my 100%. But like people like that, they're great at what they do.
Mhm.
But like, again, great matchmaking. Again,
Mhm.
not impossible. So like, and that's just what I see. I see the same thing in Terence Crawford. He's not impossible.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to give him a consistent off rhythm,
Mhm.
and that even that off rhythm
Mhm.
has to be inconsistent. But
Mm.
I'm the most inconsistent motherfucker there is.
Yeah, you're very unorthodox
You
and
don't
you're a
know what the
southpaw.
fuck I'm doing. Like
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
be coming,
yeah.
I could be
I
going,
gotta
I
give
could
you
be
that.
wasting time. I could be fucking setting up a trap. I could be, you know what I mean? I could be fainting. I could be fucking setting up decoy shots. I could be throwing a whole bunch of volume, and then before you know it,
Yeah.
you're on the canvas because I put like a fucking big shot in between light shots. I'm doing a lot of shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The whole thing is, it just looks like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that say that, man. But hey, I personally like your style, man, inside of the ring. I also like your style outside of the ring. I think you're one of, if not the best personalities in the sport of boxing. I do feel like we need more like you, my brother. Honestly, there's only a handful of guys I can honestly say that pop that shit that, hey, man, I want to watch this motherfucking interview, or I want to watch the post-fight conference. There's you, AB, Tyson Fury, certain dudes like that. There ain't too many of y'all left in the sport.
Absolutely. And like, again, most fighters, there is a lot of fighters, a lot of great athletes, a lot of great fighters. I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great athletes and great fighters that don't get the credit that they deserve because they didn't get the right resources that they needed to become something. You know what I mean? It like Errol Spence, he got the right resources and got to the right team at a very, very early stage
Mm-hmm.
of his development. Most fighters don't. Most fighters have to fight through the grind and have to fucking beat the odds. That's Blair The Flair. And unfortunately, like, with Errol Spence and the way he's come up and come about, he does not represent the people because
Not at all.
like
Totally agree.
nobody cares about how fucking easy everything was. You know what I mean? I like to see what happens when he gets hurt. I like to see what happens. How does he bounce back from adversity? How do you bounce back from a loss against Terence Crawford? Stop being a bitch and fight him. You know what I mean? Have a rematch clause. Have a rematch clause. Make something happen and make something happen now before Blair The Flair is on your ass every single day. I'll be dropping something every single fucking day until you're able to make the goddamn fight happen. If you don't make it happen, you will lose to the next generation, which will be me, Ennis, and fucking Virgil Ortiz. You will lose to those guys. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
somebody's going to be taking your damn plate sooner or later. So, like, hurry up and eat and make great fights happen before it's too late. That's how I see it.
Yeah, man, because time waits for no man. And to that point, let me ask you this. Do you feel like these guys are holding up the welterweight division?
Absolutely. They're holding up the welterweight division, and like a lot of these young fighters, they can't even hold their own weight for that long. People
Yeah.
aren't making this weight that easy.
Right.
Besides me, I would walk in with a fucking cookie in my hand to the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And eat a full steak dinner before like weigh-ins. But like, most of these guys are having a hard time making weight, and that's because everybody's in their timing. Right now we have a few really, really good athletes, that it's close to their time to hurry up and shine before they have to move out to like 54 or something. Virgil Ortiz is one of them. Ennis is one of them. Like, he ain't gonna be around that much longer. You know what I'm saying? That with that big ass body frame, he's in it, and like they're having a hard time making that weight. So sooner or later, everybody has to move up to 154 pretty soon. But like while it's still here, let's
Right.
make something special happen. You know, and people like Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and the fact that like they can't just get it together and make something special happen for boxing. That's
Man.
what it boils everybody's blood, because
Yeah,
you
we
know,
starving out here, bro. I
yeah,
mean,
the
we've been
starvation.
asking for this fight for 5 years now, about to be 5 years. I mean, it's pathetic, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, you lose out on how great the fight could have been. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
lose out on how great the fight between Mayweather and Pacquiao could have been, because they waited 7 fucking years.
Facts.
Like, who the hell is ducking who at this point? You know what I mean? After the Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto ass whooping, what happened?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's a fair question.
After Ricky Hatton, what happened with fighting Miguel Cotto at his best? What happened to these fights that
Yeah.
people should deserve to see?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you call yourself the great one, make sure that you fucking produce great fucking results and fight great fights. You know, I'm out here fighting for greatness. So yeah, I'm not always gonna be portrayed to win. I'm not gonna be undefeated either. But I tell you one thing, that by the end of the day, I'm going to be the most inspirational fighter in the world. And you're going to actually say, hey, he was a great fighter, period. He said he was a great one, and he damn sure provided he was the great one.
Hey, man, I'm not sure if you're into basketball, but that sounds like a lot of Mamba mentality right there, my brother.
Well, we're from the same city. We're from Philadelphia.
Oh,
We
okay. It makes
we
sense now.
grinded.
That's my
Yeah,
favorite athlete of all time, my brother. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. We grinded from absolutely nothing.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? Ain't no big help to push my career. It's just all about work, hard ethics, and a whole lot of prayers. If you don't believe in God, you need to fucking find God now.
Big facts. I got 2 more questions for you, my brother, maybe even 3. The first one, I heard you mention Jerron Boots Ennis. Now, I seen a while back you pulled up